All right. So welcome back to another scene for Sept of the Red Branch, where Mavis shooketh. She has gotten home safe and sound, and just done that business walk back to the dorm, and broken utterly down and had a cry because fear does things to a person, and you may be able to bottle it for a certain amount, but sooner or later, just the raw response is going to come out. So she's probably had herself a good cry back in the dorm, knowing that Angela is out helping, who knows, with lunch, with dinner. But before there's a risk of her getting spotted, because as much as she wants Angela to comfort her, she doesn't want to scare her. And just being involved the one time scared her pretty badly, understandably. So she has a good, solid cry over it, but I mean, it's a very hard, very heavy, but thankfully very brief cry before she starts forcing herself to pull it together, drinks some water, washes her face. Not okay, but not on the verge of a breakdown anymore. And honestly, with a bit of guilt, make sure that she leaves the swag behind this time, just in case. And we'll head into the bathroom and not even pull out her little hand mirror this time. She has it in her pocket. She always does, but she'll just wander into the bathroom and slide across and walk out of the dorms and take a moment to just think of where she can even go. Looking around, she can't talk to Angela as much as she wants to because she can't do that to Angela. She can't reach out to Albert or Fiona, not yet. Not, I mean, he could be here now, and she doesn't know that she'd be able to tell. So who can she talk to when she's terrified of having eyes on her? And she probably just has a bit of a walk about it in the Umbra, giving herself the opportunity to look for a tail, look for a spy, look for anything besides her poor squirrel, who hopefully is back.
He is just a bit wobbly.
Yeah, she'll catch him up and at least set him on her shoulder. And we'll probably spend part of the time reassuring that he's, one, okay, but two, still working with her and they're still good.
Like I said,
Red has to talk to him.
he just recalls everything going black, and then waking up in his nest.
Aw.
There
No,
was
that'll do
smoke,
him.
and he couldn't see anything, like fog.
No, that'll do him. Poor little guy. No, as she's walking, she will actually probably at least briefly excuse him from the extended deal. Basically be like, you're good for a little bit. I need to be alone. So, tucks him up in one of the trees and doesn't have much to bribe him with on her, not without her bag. But gives the poor little guy a pat and sits him on a tree and gives him a break to run around and be a squirrel spirit. She'll just come back and find him here when she needs him again. And she'll keep walking, still the paranoid glance around every so often because is something following her? Maybe? Would she even see it?
That's the standard. That's the creepy thing. It's just the standard sept barrage, essentially.
The usual local flora and fauna, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So heading towards the castles is probably an autopilot thing. First, kind of in the vague direction of the fire hall, but she doesn't want to go there. Just continues past it. And eventually, just as she's thinking, as she's trying to decide who is safe to talk to, it will occur to her again that the Order must know. Because if he sent those books, those particular books, those particular bits of advice, he must know already. So, admittedly, just grasping at whatever she can think of that could help, that could be a safe point, she just immediately veers around and heads towards Magnessus Castle.
Mm-hmm. It's even covered in even more thicker loon spirits. There's a lot of like a lot of deer around the castle. A lot of them, even more so than usual, like spirit wise. But the castle again looks so grandiose in the Umbra. You know what I mean?
Yep. And well aware that they could be serving any number of purposes, she will make sure that she identifies herself before she tries to go inside, should any of them.
Oh yeah, they seem to initially all look up at you, which is a jarring sensation. You know, they all that, but it's not like that deer thing of what they do when they're frightened. No, it's that slow like whoop 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 whoop. You know what I mean? When they recognize who you are, they just immediately go back to grazing.
Wow, that wasn't eerie.
You'll see a kind of darkened falcon as well, perched up in one of the trees. It's not like the osprey spirit you found. No, this is much darker. Its feathers are much darker. Kind of just perched, just watching you. Very plain, very. It clearly looks like it belongs there. Kind of just overseeing the deer almost in a creepy way.
Yeah, there's a thoughtful look to that, but
You can roll a intelligence cult if you like.
I would like. Let me fetch forth my dice. All right, intelligence occult.
Yes.
Okie dokie, artichoke. 3.
That is one of Merlin's brood.
Ah.
She's a lot smaller than a lot of the like the typical falcons you see of like the Silverfang variety. You know what I mean? It's smaller, it's quicker, sharper. But just overseeing.
Well, due respect then, of course.
Do you cross over into Tellurian to, or are you just gonna mosey around the Umbra?
Truth be told, she's probably going to go as far as she is allowed to in the Umbra, just because she doesn't want to run into people and explain why she's there, and essentially she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to think about what happened and an excuse and risk losing her cool. So she'll get as far as she can. Not trying to be invasive, not trying to dodge spirits or anything, just the matter of fact of how far can I go before a spirit just flat tells me, or a guru just flat tells me I need to come across and present.
Eventually, you hear just whispers in the hallway, like that's shadow spirits. They like it's creepy because like it's like a corridor like this. It's like the corridor deliberately darkens. You know what I mean? As a warning. Like you see one of them stick their ethereal heads out of the wall. You are not allowed past here. You do not have the seal. Yes, the seal.
Yeah, that's kind of spoopy, but there's just the okay, you're there. And
Oh, that wasn't there the last time you wandered these corridors.
nope. So
It's
she will
almost as if something happened at the castle.
almost. Nope, she'll just put the hands up and, kind of the surrender gesture. Thank you for letting me know.
Oh, they stay there. They don't slither away. They're watching you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. She will make a point of returning to the mouth of that particular hallway. All the way back to the front. And they'll take out her mirror and take a glance to see if there's anyone down either way in this hall.
And out by the water people, there is. Just out by where like you can see the waiting area is Eve MacTyke talking to Fanula O'Howan. That's about it. Some people come in and out, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you'll spot the tail singer kind of coming in and coming out of that area, but he's not going near where the warder's office is, if you get what I'm saying. People come in and come out. So that's sort of vibe. But you'll even probably fucking spot Blackfire wandering around the area, probably tending to some of the Umbral stuff that's around here. Like, you see him in the distance, if you get me. Like, he's in another section of the castle, probably tending to or paying service to whatever protections they've after adding to the place.
Well, nothing like showing up like a place like this, just kind of fear strung out on rage, and yep, fuck it. Just go ahead.
There you go. You sit across, and you can they don't notice you yet because I imagine the crossing over is a very silent process. It's not like you go, "Poof, I'm here." You know what I mean? So they're not. They don't even register that you're there yet. You can just see them very civilly chatting to one another. Eve always looks so markedly tense, but again, it's quite civil. It's quite, it's like they're talking about, when will the O'Howan be visiting the MacTyke? There's a lot of things we need to talk about, and how is this going? And it's very engaged politics. It's not like secret meetings, but it's very civil and very formal. It's very. We're looking forward to having you, and they've mentioned Usheen a few times. They mentioned this,
Ah, joy.
I mean, makes sense, really. They're a noble family, and these are,
I mean, let's be honest. Right now, Maeve's only desire is that they weren't between her and the warder's office. The two of them talking makes perfect sense.
Like, eventually, Maeve, I'll give you this for free. Fanula just is like, well, then I'll tell my father of the, possible things, and, just give deals on the table and all that. And, Eve gives a polite smile, and Fanula will eventually feck off, but Maeve for a piece of candy. Oh, yeah, the O'Howans are in talks with the MacTyke. Of course they are, but there's confirmation, And it's just Eve MacTyke kind of leaned up against the wall, kind of sits at that, like, whew, like fluffing her golden hair out of her face. Just, whew, Jesus. Whew.
What? She can feel the pressure? Madness. No, Maeve will head that way. Because that means you're going to have to go over there one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
What would they just a polite nod in passing. And honestly, because she's not thinking about how she feels about Eve or how she feels about this, and it's kind of a given thing that unless O'Sheen refuses, he's going to end up with one of those girls. That's just going to happen.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty much.
This is nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah.
So just in passing, just that seems very well done.
Kind of glances over like, oh shit. Ooh.
Surprise! Badge.
Ah, yes. Well, it's more or less in the works at this point. It's just signing out the official, as it were, paperwork. We need further ties here, and having the support of a powerful man like the O'Howan is a wise move in terms of making sure the Sept can have some ties. It does raise some concerns due to their ties to Tri-Spire in the current economic and the current climate, I would say. But thankfully, he has a strong representative on the council in Silver Tara, so all in all, it seems a savvy move to at least tie one of these things together. He's obviously here for a purpose, and we need the friends in the Fianna court. It's just as we, not just talking about the family, like MacTaig family, but the Sept in general, you know what I mean? Like, this is not just going to benefit the MacTaigs, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, it's again like Maeve may have moments where she's really awkward about this shit, but right now she can't be asked to be awkward, so she just honestly, hears it out and offers a bit of a nod and just says, I wish you all the best of luck. I'm sure you'll make a fantastic impression.
No, man. It's not me who has to make the impression. I'm just the one making sure that they are in the same room.
Well, if the time I've spent with them has been any indication, I don't imagine they'll be anything less than fully receptive.
Hopefully, it just depends on which one. Fanula is brash and headstrong, and Una is very sweet and devout. It's seeing which one bites first at the idea of my cousin, and while his father is very supportive, his mother exercises a healthy dose of caution. So I'm making sure that both sides are appeased. After all, the true catcher seems to agree with the idea, and seems like the most pressing conflict. If the Macnessa are not available for such a thing, why wait and let it fester and die? After all, I would have thought your friend Seamus would have gone for it. But his heart clearly lies elsewhere.
Hearts do seem to pull where they pull.
They do. So, why lament on the prospect when it can be a gain? It's just not with any arrogance or smugness. It's just matter of fact. Like, why hearts choose what they want? Okay, well then why? Let's not kick ourselves into dust and let's go fucking get what. Yeah,
Well, it makes perfect sense, and I'm sure Oisin will be receptive too.
I'm sure he will. She may not be a Macfionn or anything like that, but an O'Howan is still strong and powerful, particularly among the denizens of Silver Tara and Tri-Spiral. She just throws that out there, though. Oh, yeah, she may not be a Macfionn, though. You know what I mean?
It's just the that weird moment where it finally works through her head that like of course Oisin had on her.
Mm-hmm. Even Rory was like, wait a minute, what are you offering? You know what I mean? Like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Like Oisin has head on her, it's come up before, and like she's thought of it on a personal level. She's never actually paused to think about her romantic life. Now that she's got a better idea of a political playing field, it's just the oh god.
That would have jumped. Like I said, why do you think people are raging that you and Daniel are both Guru? Could you imagine the political powerhouse? Or that you're not male and you could jump on Fiona? What? About Pure Breed 5?
I mean, look, Fiona and I aren't friends like that, but If only.
No, but like Sawhurst, Maeve. Oh, next generation. Oh,
Where are my grandkids?
yeah, pretty much. But she glances, follows your eyes as they're like I imagine trained over at the warder's door.
Yeah, she does train them over there.
You're waiting for Lord Macnessa?
Is he in?
No.
The weird, like, oh, that's okay. My world just shattered, but oh, okay.
But if you do have a message.
I just, I'd very much like to talk to him.
I see. Not. Kind of just, he's, does a little bit of a lip lick and kind of glances around. Just nods. If I were to ask you, oh no, in fact, if I were to say the following, what would you reply with? Go if I gok maktir bas. I would look at your blue booking.
I was going to say it's the thing fucking written on her doodad.
Yeah, but she said one aspect of it.
Yep.
Which is all wolves will die.
Yet all wolves must serve, and I am not going to even try to pronounce that. I'm sorry, I don't.
Gokfi gok maktir frestala. Yeah. That's what you reply with.
Mm-hmm.
And she nods once. Doesn't. That's the frightening thing about Eve. It's not like a shock or a revelation. It's just a very curt nod. Like to the public eye, it's business. Yes, of course. You know what I mean? Then, Lady Macsham, will you follow me, please?
Of course.
She just starts walking down the darkened corridor.
Yep. She will follow. She's not even going to question this. This seems fine.
She walks past the warder's door. Oh, you're walking for a hot minute. And you notice she reaches into her sleeve and places something on the wall as she's walking past.
Essentially, probably planting a seal there to make sure nothing goes off.
You can roll an alertness to see what it is. I'm not giving it to you for free.
Pouty noises.
Whoa! Hey, nicely
It's a
done.
seal, right?
It is this very specific seal. It is the seal that it was on your note. It is a sigil of a black lion devouring a serpent.
Huh. When you say seal, do you mean like a wax seal?
Sort of. It's almost like something. It's not like a sticker, but it's kind of waxy. Yes, but you can almost just plant it in the wall and it kind of just stays there, like clunk. Much like a Talon. In an odd way. It's not that she has gnosis, it's just she places it there. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, the logic being, even if it's not a Talon, which it doesn't need to be, if the spirits know that having the seal presented on a dark spot, aka on them where they can see it,
Yep.
means they're good, then they're good. And she's just like, I got one. Okay. I'll get that later.
She just moves by, turns another dark corridor, and opens a side door and lets you in first.
Look, man, she has had way scarier things behind her back than Eve today. She's just gonna go.
This is the style of corridor you're going down.
It's a spiral staircase. Jesus.
Yeah, but these are atypical. These are very typical of castles.
Mm-hmm.
It's for defense.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I love the way they work. Like when someone actually broke it down. Fucking fascinating. But yeah. Nope, she will just start going. And if it gets dark enough, she will just eventually put a hand on the wall.
Oh, Eve just reaches over to the side and grabs a small little torch that's kind of hung there. And she just walk, you see her reach into her robes and just light it with a little flick of a match. And you're just walking down. She doesn't say a goddamn thing throughout this whole time.
You know
And
what? This is
yeah.
the best non-conversation she's ever had with Eve.
And eventually she comes to a door and, yeah, Maeve, there's a black lion just carved into the wood. You've gone down about 2 flights of stairs by this point. Actually, no, sorry, 3. 3 flights. You're gone.
And we started on ground level, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Like, you just went down. And there's a black line sigil, and again, Maeve, you don't feel anything wrong. You actually feel, if oddly, everything's very quiet. Like, you barely even hear Eve's footsteps at times.
It's strange to say it's soothing, but by the same token, when it's this quiet, if something was following her, she'd hear it.
Mm-hmm.
It's weirdly reassuring that it is silent.
And she does basically... And the door swings open, and you are brought into a room that looks much like this.
All right. Weirdly cozy.
There's various maps, there's various things, but it's very plain in its design. But there are various things. There is like books laid out, strewn across the table. The fireplace is lit, nice eerie glow as well. The little bed there. There is various things around this room, and there's like a door that opens to the left, and you hear 1 or 2 footsteps, and around that corner. Let me even get the glow that I want for this. That's what the firelight will make them look like.
I accept your terms. Yeah, to her credit. And once she's let in, she kind of pulls the polite guest thing and just stands at the door, the hands folded in front of her, taking it in until she hears the footsteps, and then she'll, of course, be turning to look by the time he comes around the corner.
How is Maeve feeling about all this?
On any other day, it would probably be a lot more distressing or eerie or strange, but today... Today, it's different. And it is a little interesting, but at this point, she's kind of thankful for the distraction from... No, it didn't happen that long ago.
Lady Macfion, I hear you're looking to speak to me.
Yes, Maya.
Well then, gestures towards the little stools by the fire.
Thank you, Ryan.
And Eve just closes the door behind her, and you hear her soft, barely audible footsteps go back up the stairs.
Yeah, again, it should be odd and it should be eerie, but sat here, it's so reassuring that, like, if Eve, who was fairly quiet moving along, can be heard that clearly going up the stairs from here, no one's coming down. So yeah, she does actually, with the footsteps going up, does briefly glance to the door, kind of gets distracted by just the reassurance of being able to hear it.
Now then, Lady Macfion, Your obvious paranoia aside, did you like my books?
Very much. Thank you.
I trust they were both benefit.
Very much so.
Wonderful. I had a feeling they would be.
They were indispensable.
Now you're just pandering to me, but I don't mind. Gives a playful bit of a wink. Would you like some tea? These things are always better with tea, don't you find?
They are.
He just eases it up. Again, it's weird because he looks like Daniel. Like, he has that Mac Nessa look about him, but his eyes are so like dark. Even in the firelight, you know what I mean? He just casts a whole different aura than Daniel or even Daniel's father. Like, you've seen the Alpha a couple of times, and he has this magnanimous aura about him. You know what I mean? Daniel's very much the same. Fiona even, but this one, it's a different aura completely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny because it may not be until now when she has a chance to sit and outside of the public eye, outside of the social pressure, and really look at him that she realizes how much he looks like Daniel. Because he just strikes her as so very different than the others.
And you hear like the sound of like he brings over a small pot, those very classical pots that he puts over the fire, makes this nice little noise, you know what I mean?
Oh, weirdly enough, very sorry.
Go ahead.
It's just Maeve is easily charmed by very homey, very traditional things. So the whole idea of like actually hanging the pot over the fireplace, that is
And while the the kettle is being essentially boiled, glance over. Now, Lady Macshon, I take it from the stammering in your voice, the twitch in your eye, the rubbing of your fingers, you are seeking guidance on something. Something that has all happened all too recently.
yes, sir.
You see, it's very curious. Would you mind presenting me your hands?
Yeah, she probably has been like idly fiddling with a thumb or something, but she, parts them and just offers them both forward.
He is very careful. It's odd. It's the way Daniel sometimes has touched your face. It's very mimicking of that, in a weird way. Rope does leave quite the burn on the skin, you see.
Yeah, sorry.
Very distinctive.
Yeah, she glances down at her wrist for the first time. Really? Yes, it does.
Now, unless you're wishing to, and judging by your reaction, it is not some pleasure you receive these marks from.
No. Oh, no.
No, it's just it's again. I don't know how Maeve feel. How does Maeve feel? The way it's like he's not seductive. It's not. If anything, it's just he looks up. It's like he's assessed every part of your body within. Boom. Denotes your hair, or you've recently had a shit. You can already see his mind just doom, 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 doom.
I mean, knowing him, he can probably tell that she's only washed like her face.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's dampness still in the roots of her hair or something. It's just, yeah.
I don't know how does Maeve feel?
What's his stare like?
It's not intense. It's, if anything, what's unnerving about it is the subtle curiosity of things. Very feline. It's like as if he is analyzing, but he's also, he's examined her wrists and seen it, like, oh. And then he like leans forward and like looks at her face and he's like, oh. You know what I mean? It's very weird to be the subject of like a feline curiosity.
It is a little off-putting, but again, it's one of those things she might react more dramatically to normally. It's still off-putting. She just doesn't have as quick a kind of. Ugh. You can see that it's she's noticing it. It's on her face. It's very plain. It's just she's not as responsive. She's still probably a little dulled after what happened.
And yeah, the kettle makes its signature hissing noise, and he eases the pot off and pours, the steaming things in.
Yep.
He reaches over, walks over to what looks to be a little kind of stowaway area, takes out one of these little plastic, like, looks like milk essentially, and those little, like, he doesn't obviously keep like milk cartons. It's like, I'm just going to keep this small amount of milk just in case I ever do these things. Pours them in, stirs, hands one over.
Yeah, and I mean, she thinks it, or she takes it, lol, with the autopilot, just the thank you.
Now, little fawn, who has startled you so bad?
You sent me a book about him.
Ah, the falcon has made his strike. And you're still breathing.
I am.
I take it was not your own ingenuity of escaping.
He didn't want to kill me, or he would have.
Yes, or you would have been as grievously wounded as the young Lady von Premont.
Right, I didn't even know he was there until there was silver on me. It would have been a lot worse.
Well, that's what you get for not playing with the toys I gave you. Boops your nose. Stalling is never the wise option, little fawn. It normally gets you killed.
Yeah. I know what it does.
You did, and let you. Now, this could be also some very intriguing strategy. She gives us like a curious head tilt, like, huh? Did you plan this? You know what I mean? It's that little smile on her face. A very high risk gamble, Lady Mepshon, if that is the case. Now, let's see what the reward would be.
I've seen him, spoken to him. Seen one of the places that he's been squatting in.
Very good. Very good.
I don't know exactly where he took me after that, but it was far, far out in the bog.
That does tell many things, doesn't it?
I don't understand why he would hide that place and not the one where he'd been hiding.
Is he hiding in that place, or is he using it? A falcon lays many nests. Some to sleep in, and others to bait out a trap. Wouldn't you think?
Probably just to watch from.
Very good. And I imagine why he took you out to a bogland was nobody will find you for a long time out there. If he decided that he did not need you. Correct?
There's the bob of the head. Yeah, probably. Man, this tea. Ugh.
I imagine it was quite a traumatic experience for you, little fawn. You do not have the eye of one who has seen such intrigues and gruesome realities of the intrigue being played out.
I didn't expect.
But you have done enough to keep yourself alive, and that is the main thing.
And to stay in contact with him.
Oh. Now that is the next point. And now you're here looking for me.
I didn't know who else to talk to.
Well, first of all, let me ease the fear that's rising in your belly right now. If I were to think that you were a traitor, do you think I would have let you see me?
No, right.
Precisely. And after all, you owe me a lot of favors for the things I've done for you. Don't you?
It's funny because it's very much as though it doesn't occur to her until he says it. Yes, right.
So why would I not trust the fact that you wouldn't betray me because you hold that to the center of your heart? Don't you?
Yes, right. I wouldn't.
Exactly. You are a very honorable person, Maeve Macfion. He gives you a smile like, oh yeah, no, I know all about you. You know what I mean? But it's almost like what he's doing is he's making her repeat it herself, so she can. You know what I mean? It's a weird way of therapy.
It's an interesting take. It's definitely one she doesn't seem to recognize as happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he even would have ever thought to ask. I don't think he knows that I've spoken to you, been helped by you at all.
No, he wouldn't, though, would he?
No.
Precisely, my little fawn. Which is why I chose you.
It's a knit of the brow.
Who would suspect you, my little fawn? Who would suspect your involvement? Who would expect your intent? One so innocent and so sweet.
How did you choose me? I don't.
I watched you.
When?
Since the moment you arrived. Did you think a Macfion would not go unwatched?
No, Mariah, of course not. I didn't have a nudge. After what I saw.
I had suspected that you would land yourself in a difficult situation. I hadn't anticipated it every move on the board, but I did count on you finding your way onto it, one way or another. And that is why you, for the needs of this, are what I would like to call my perfect little fawn.
I don't know what to do besides.
Well, what has he asked you, little fawn?
He wants me to befriend Fiona. I don't think he knows that we're already.
Oh, how could he?
Exactly. And
Does he know where you breathe? Does he know where you sleep? I don't think you hang around his eyes, do you? There's a smile on his face. Oh, it is so not evil, not smug, just oddly mysterious. It's just a smile. I don't think, yeah, you know what I mean. It's not anything of I know this and you don't. It's odd. It's just curious smile, like he's thinking about something.
I don't think so. The only guys I know about, I'm not even sure on all of them.
Ah, you have your suspicions.
I had to be careful.
Of course you did.
He said that night that he'd found someone else, and that meant there had to be someone to watch out for.
Good. Very good. Well then, it's quite simple, Lady Macfion. You do what he wants. Until such a time as you are ready to bring him to the light.
That's the part I'm not sure how to do.
Oh, that is easy. You give him what he wants. And then you make sure that when it is time, well then, we will know, won't we?
Here's the bob of the head.
And then what should happen, Lady Macfion? You are a smart girl.
I suppose if it came to the day that I was supposed to bring Fiona, knowing what he's going to do, that it is a trap. Make sure there are others there. Make sure he can see what he wants and can try to take it, but won't be able to.
Exactly. You give him everything he desires for. Everything. And of the day that his desire is fulfilled, well, then you and I will be there to make sure, won't we?
Yes, but Raya, he threatened the Rye for me.
Threaten the rye.
He thought that it was best to offer me what he was sure I would want, a place of influence. And
Sure he
can't
did.
move up unless there's a
Oh,
spot
I
to
am-
move up into.
Oh, I imagine he'll make things very difficult should you not obey. But you're going to obey, aren't you?
Yes?
And then why are you so concerned with not obeying? Why break the rules when breaking the rules is what you need to do?
That wasn't supposed to be a threat to me. It was supposed to be a bribe.
Of course. Why not bribe somebody with power that they wish for? Well, then now you know what he's capable of, which means that we can plan against it.
Yeah, there's the Bob. Like, yeah, plan against it. Okay, good. Whew.
Because, little knave, little fawn, why are you so concerned with something that you're never going to know about? He'll offer you these things, but you have to prove your loyalty and prove your devotion by doing this to him, for him even. So, why not? You have informed me of one of his capabilities, and now I will ensure that it is completely neutralized.
There's like that bit of a nod. Just it's tiny, but if more so, it's just the relief of like, okay, good, because that's why she's told him. She wants him to do something about it. She wants to know that he knows.
However, these things are not always easy. You will need to do your duty, but you will also need to do more if you wish to help. And I'm sure you're so eager to help my nephew. So eager. Aren't you?
He's been a very good friend to me, Raya. Of
Oh,
course.
he has been. And if you were anything else, I would be surprised. So, it's very simple. We both know of one individual that has been causing a lot of undue strife for my family. And it is not the one you glare at so often and so with such venom. Then he smiles with a little like gleeful like
I'm not gonna lie, there's the guilty look 'cause she did just follow Eve down here, and you know she can take a hint. Oh boy, it's the guilty glance, and then the man. This tea.
Are you going to ask? Because he's never confirmed it. He just was like, you glare at a lot of people, Maeve.
She tries not to glare at a lot of people. She just
Glare
knows
at
where her guilty conscience leaps.
It's a well, what do you do now, Maeve? Because he just is sitting there leaned back with his pretty much on his face.
Who's that, Raya?
Oh. I imagine Eve McTighe is not at the top of your friends.
You haven't gotten on especially well. No?
Oh. And she is doing her job.
What do you mean?
Lynn is under my employ. Sorry. I don't know why I said fucking. Blah. Eve is under my employ.
So that she had
Her entire job is to feign hatred for myself and my family, and to join every conspiracy, every whisper against us. And tell me.
Oh.
Her price is, well, Eve does like her family and her station to be risen in the right circles. So I make sure that Eve McTighe is well taken care of.
Oh.
So the more you hate Eve and the more you convince people to flock to her banner, you help me.
Sorry, give me one quick second. But she's taking that in for a second, and just that makes sense. Holy shit. All right, and return. So yeah, that's one of those things where she realizes, like, holy shit, this whole thing has been, it's a fucking passion play. And the person you actually mean?
Oh, such an ambitious girl from such a poor background.
Yeah, on that one.
So resentful to the noble families who left her family behind in the dirt and the mud, and has risen to now serving as retainer for various noble families as representation of her people. My, they say the traveller's song is so sweet on the moor and the Cree. But my heart, does love Delaney Macri.
What has she done?
Well, she's one of his eyes.
Is she not? I guess I haven't been in the right rooms to see what she's done that.
Do you notice the difficulties the travelers are facing towards our folk lately? Spouting dark secrets, whispers of discontent, which many people are beginning to listen to.
Even now?
I hear she has the majority of a pack under her sway. Not the ones that are of importance of yet. I have made sure that I planted my man in there. And I do not believe that Mr. Nevin would be swayed so easily. He is too loyal. But the others, ooh. And I do believe she is beginning to whisper into Cackling Thunder's ear.
Yeah, it's an agitated pitch of the brows.
And I think we both know that somebody is already bought and paid for in full stock. Though we have no proof as of yet. If we did, well, the Green Knight would certainly be no longer green, less a knight.
I had always thought at first that it had been snuck into his office, but do you think he put it there?
Oh, I had to be allowed to be in there, my darling. Hugo was always bitter that he did not get Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, she's searching his face as she puts together like the pieces of like what
he is incredibly hard. You got a P&E him. He's incredibly hard to read. Even his smiles are so carefully chosen. Do you want to go against him?
I'll always try.
I am sorry for what I'm
through the fucking ceiling on top of his roll.
I'm not going to add his puberty because I feel like that would be an unfair. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is what it is. He's going to be nigh impossible for her to read.
There you go. That's just his minip sub.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Maeve, that's probably the scariest part of Tristan McNessa. He is impossible to read.
Yeah, it's not that she expects to find something unless he wants to show it, but it's just that searching his face. You can see her clicking together. If he's that bitter, is that what he was promised? Is that, is this person offering to take out half the goddamn sept if it gets him the other half?
You see, you do not need to kill somebody in order to take their position. So uncivilized. But if you picture the right angle, if you picture the right thing, show incompetency, then people start questioning. I imagine that's what they were trying to do with Nessa. And thankfully, she did not succumb to the rage that she holds so in her heart. And thankfully, she did not kill Sasha. But you do not have to buy someone in order to create an opportunity. Flushing out and making the right master weak. I don't believe they counted on her coming back. You see what their game is? Exploitation. Very clever. It's something I do enjoy most.
But how could he have had any part in how she came back?
My darling, that's what I mean. She boops her nose again. You're assuming too much again. They were waiting on the right master's weakness, so the challenge would not even be there. Could you imagine a figure like Neve abdicating or being taken over without even so much as a challenge?
Yeah, she is putting together new pieces, essentially a whole side of that entire exchange that she was just too naive to catch on to.
And imagine making an Arun nervous, whispering in her ear, much like the master does, that she needs to win. She needs to win. Neek creeps up behind you and whispers, she needs to win.
That's the part that finally gets a bit of a reaction out of her. A little, she's
Mhm.
been kind of dulled, but getting up behind her and whispering in her ear, nope, she didn't like that.
But there, when you step back, he just does like it's a gesture of his hand, like, "Do you see?" Now imagine that being at 5 or 6 rage in your ear.
Yeah, there's the visible swallow.
And why would she doubt him? He's the master of challenge, a good friend of her family.
The brows just knit. And it's funny she does the gesture of reaching for her bag, even though it's not there right now. It's always with her. It's a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me when she played the game of riddles and then released the spirit. Does she still have the remains of that original brooch?
Didn't you leave your bag behind?
Yeah, she doesn't have it on her, but I'm just trying to remember if she has it at all.
Yes.
If she pats her hip and just fuck. I still have what's left of that brooch. The spirit's gone, but it's the image that it is. Yeah.
Good. That will be useful later on. Here's a smile, like, good. We'll need that eventually. This is something we can use later. You know what I mean?
This is a secret. Oh my god. And you said Delaney was even more of a problem.
Oh, that Kinfolk. I just have to admit, if she was not on this side, on our side, I would immediately make sure she was, but she's just so in depth that unfortunately. But yes, she is quite the issue. Again, we have confirmation and we have small bits of testimony, but we will need proof. We will need more than just words.
We can try. Maybe if I bring him the thing that I've promised and the thing that he's asked for.
Well, of course. Reaches and touches your face with this like fatherly like pat pat of the cheek, like, "Oh, darling, of course you
Girl.
look at that." That's hence why I sent you do everything he wants.
All right. Oh.
Water over here, like 1 second, just go. This is what the water's really like.
This is a secret tool.
We're gonna use this later.
Right?
And of course, I imagine you lean in like scooch, 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 scooch.
Yeah, that's not nearly so bothersome. He's not hiding behind her like he did.
I imagine Mr. Venom at least knows of this little conspiracy.
Yeah. Yes. I've asked him to watch. I wanted proof.
Watch for what, my darling?
Watch Delaney. Watch.
Oh, how quaint. He's been too busy trying to ride my niece.
Oh. She finally has to kind of like shrug, like, oh, well, he said he would do it.
I'm sure Mr. Venom would do many things. He is doing good work. But why trust a cock to when you can trust your own ingenuity. A cock is only good for howling at the moon and putting itself in another willing participant.
I don't know that she would let me close to her, Ryan.
Oh no, not you, my darling. Not you. You don't. You have more than 50 ways to watch people. And after all, you do have one in, should you bear it. But I would not. It would change up the pace. I would do what is needed of you. I would give him reports of Fiona's activities. And then, my darling, get into his confidence. He won't make his strike now. It's too hot, too fresh. But he'll eventually put you with her. Like he did with Eve.
There's the slow kind of, wait, what?
You've seen Delaney around Eve a lot. Remember? It's normally Delaney and Nula's sister. Multiple times you've seen it. Multiple times. Good few scenes you've seen them there.
Oh boy.
Earn the trust. And then you can imply the poison.
What about Taylor?
Oh, that sweet little girl. He just gives a smile like, oh, she's nothing more than a sweet girl. A perfect retainer for Lady Eve, who doesn't ask much questions and doesn't involve herself in the politics.
The
She does
word is so clear.
smuggling here or there with Pavel, but from what I can tell, she's just a girl going about her business. I've seen no hooks in her just yet. Unless you like to employ some, of course, Lady Maeve. I do hear you prefer the female variety. Wink.
Eyebrows pop up a little bit like, whoa, what? Whoa.
Winks. Sip some tea like, do you know what I mean?
She finally must be growing her sense of humor back because she doesn't take it badly. It's just like the, wait, what? Oh.
He's so sassy. Do you know what I mean?
The fact that he's getting sassy also helps it finally become like a faint smile, that little ghost of a smile, like, okay, you made a funny. No.
But trust Seamus to be Seamus. He's a cock, roostering high. Let him rooster, and see who likes to bite. Although, I'm afraid Clara von Primo won't be doing much biting these days. Or is it my niece this time? Glances over like, I do wonder. He's so extra. Like the black hair flip just...
That's why it's like, she won't be biting for lunch. Raya! Oh!
Oh, my darling, don't you know about that?
I have seen them spending time together, of course, but the stew season.
Oh, well, that was long before that, darling. Dinner, plans. It's the Do you know what I mean?
God damn it. Stop being perfect.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. I would do the same.
Would you?
When I was younger, yes. Wigs, you know what I mean?
God damn it.
There you go. There's the leg.
What are you doing to me? God damn it. I see what you've done.
When I was a younger man, although I'm not quite old now, but when I was certainly his age, I would have definitely done it.
I certainly wouldn't call you old, Raya.
Oh, no, and I do thank you for that. He gives a smile like, oh, I do thank you for that. I do thank you for that. But the point being, my little fawn, is he walks over. You see, he walks over to one of the little, in the picture, there's like the little bed. He reaches into the drawer, takes some cloth out. You see, he reaches into the drawer below it, takes out what looks to be like some sort of paste and rubs it into cloth, walks back over, and your hands, please.
Yeah, she just offers them up. She's curious.
And he puts the cloth on the marks of the wrist. There is a bit of like a stinging sensation, essentially. Like tss.
Ugh.
He just wipes, and your skin is like baby soft again.
What is?
A little gift from Drust for our friendship.
Oh,
Taps his nose. Now that is a secret, my darling.
of course.
Certain knowledges that he possesses, and we do have an agreement, so. But that's my friend, not yours. Boop.
Feels like a little. She finally makes the little stubborn face because, like, yeah, he's your friend, but he's my magic daddy. Ugh.
Now, I trust you know your assignment then, Lady Maeve Maxion.
Yes, I just. Do you mind if I stay a while?
Oh, you wish to stay with me? I can tell you, Lady Maeve, I have not had a young woman in my quarters in quite some time, so I will be nothing if flattered to give like a wink over his shoulder. Pretty much. Still got it.
Just might ruin the whole thing if I go back to my room and start crying again.
Well, drink some more tea, darling. I'll have Eve collect you in an hour.
Do you ever get used to things like that happening?
I just don't let them happen to me.
Kind of a pout.
Because when they do happen, and they leave you alive, turn over and it's, oh, you know what I mean? Now he looks like a lion. I make sure they pay for it tenfold. Because they've been foolish enough to leave me alive. Think of it that way.
All right.
Is that what you want to think like?
There's finally the slight head shake.
Walks over, lifts your chin up so you look into his dark eyes. Sometimes we do not get the choice of what goes into our thoughts and what we must do with them.
I no, it's not fair to ask. But in a way, isn't this still us picking a side? Even if it's not public.
Oh, think about this, Maeve. We asked you for neutrality to remain neutral. He locked you in and took you out to a bog and threatened to murder you if you did not agree to his simple bribe. Were not picked aside, you were forced. What have I done for you? I have brought you here, given you plenty of options, but I have never forced you. Have I?
Oh, of course not, Raya.
Well, then think of it that way. You didn't pick a side, you were forced to pick a side based on his action.
Well, the head bobs because that adds up. Thank you, Raya.
Don't thank me just yet.
Even if I trust you enough to thank you now?
Oh, you trust me, do you?
Yes, Raya. I have no reason not to, right? I'm not.
True. Like I said, like I said, it has been some time since somebody so willing to trust me has walked into my halls, my whispers.
If you wanted to do unsavory things, you would have done them before I ever came. I don't have any reason not to trust you, right?
Look at you, echoing my words back. Get some rest, Lady Macfion. Nobody will question where you are.
Thank you, Raya.
I'll have Eve collect you in an hour. That should be enough to get some measure of sleep. Or sit by the fire. And if you need to cry, these halls are so silent nobody would even hear a sound.
Thank you, Raya.
It's such a shame, you know.
What is?
Oh, well, that you're not a kinfolk. You would have been a lovely niece. Pats her face and starts walking.
There's the blank blank as he like just leaves her with that and like I'm just gonna saunter out on that note.
He glance over her shoulder. For you and Daniel would have made a truly beneficial couple, and it would have been a pleasure to have you as my family. But clicks his heels together, almost like, ha! I will take it all the same for what we have now. Lady Macfion.
I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of struck her speechless with that one. Just the oh, wow. You know, I know people talk like this, but never to me. Jesus.
But I do believe you will be a very good ally for this family, whether you're married into it or not. Correct?
Always, right?
Oh, that is what I like to hear. It's a ho, Julian, always.
Yeah, no hesitation either. Just she's so certain. It's one of the only things that isn't shaky. Just always.
Well, now that is the tone I like to hear, Lady Macfield. Now, I must leave, for I have many things to do, and unfortunately, I cannot stare at your beautiful face all day. As tempting as it is.
It's finally again the bit of a smile comes back. You've been an impeccable host, right? I'm sure I'll be fine.
As much as I am a bastard, I am a Fianna still, despite my mother's many claims.
This is the brownet of what?
Just give a smile. And my advice to you, Maeve, if you're planning to use a more unsavory method, I don't think you will, though it's not your style. Keep the innocence about you. You just swim to the little. It's like opens a wooden door, and that's another corridor that he just seems to walk down. Another stairwell that's going up.
All right. Yeah, she just kind of gets left to mull that over.
So would you like to end the scene there, Buffy?
I would. All right.